So Wolverine vs. Hulk is a hotly debated fight, but we're going to mix it up a little bit and throw their female counterparts head to head here. X-23 versus She-Hulk. Now let's get started. X-23 is a product of the Weapon X program cloned from a damaged sample of Wolverine's DNA. Since she could walk, she was trying to kill Wolverine, but instead she joined the X-Men, becoming his daughter figure and eventually his successor. As a clone of Wolverine, Laura has strength, speed, and agility similar to Wolverine. Now, she rarely relies on her strength to win a fight, but she has been seen at throwing opponents through walls, and she is quick enough to dodge bullets and actually even identify what type of bullet they are as they go whizzing past her face. Then, of course, X-23 has an incredible healing factor as well. She's been able to regenerate damaged tissue, regrow limbs, regenerate from having your body blown apart by a bazooka, survives having her stomach blown up and all of her sweat turned into acid, and one time even survived accidentally extending her own claws into her brain. Definitely not her best moment, but it does showcase her impressive healing factor. It's even been argued that her healing factor is better than Wolverine's. Now notice how I mentioned that X-23 has the ability to regrow limbs? Well, that's because only her claws are coated in adamantium. The rest of her skeleton isn't. Laura does have her claws, which are essentially the same as Wolverine's, except she has two coming out of her wrist and then one coming from her foot. Her claws have been able to slice up the Hulk and cut out his eyes, and she's precise enough with them that she can easily slice at someone's hamstring as they're trying to run away. X-23 is a highly skilled fighter and is an expert in armed and unarmed combat, and a master of several different forms of martial arts. She also has participated in many different Black Ops missions and is an expert assassin. Now, despite being incredibly hard to beat, X-23 does have some weaknesses. First, there's a specific chemical called a trigger scent that sends her into berserker rage, and she can't distinguish between friend and foe. Her healing factor can also be overloaded, to where it takes her a while to heal, and she's out of the fight. And since her entire skeleton isn't covered in adamantium, she's susceptible to decapitation and losing limbs. After being shot by mobsters, Jennifer Walters' cousin, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, saved her life by giving her a last-minute blood transfusion of his own irradiated blood. From that point on, she was able to transform into the Sensational She-Hulk, a recurring member of the Avengers. As She-Hulk, her powers are very similar to the Hulk, although to a lesser degree. For a while, She-Hulk's strength was at a set limit, but recently it's been seen that as she gets angrier, her strength increases as well. Interestingly, the stronger Jennifer Walter gets, the stronger She-Hulk gets as well. So like if Jen got really into CrossFit, then She-Hulk would be a whole lot stronger. Her punches have been able to make World War Hulk and Red Hulk bleed, and she's generally seen at around the Thing's strength level, since she usually starts off a bit weaker, but can easily surpass him as she gets angrier. Now, She-Hulk did go through a period where she was insanely strong, like strong enough to easily beat the champion with the power gem, and she said she could beat Hercules in an arm wrestling competition. But She-Hulk is no longer that powerful, and she's never been seen being that strong ever again. Jen is also durable enough to go toe-to-toe with Namor and take hits from Sentry. Then she also has a healing factor, although not to the same extent as the Hulk. She-Hulk is also a very skilled fighter, as she's been personally trained by Captain America in hand-to-hand combat and several different forms of martial arts. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, this fight might just seem like the female version of Hulk versus Wolverine, but it's actually different in several key ways. For starters, She-Hulk isn't as strong as the Hulk by a significant margin, and she also isn't as durable, and she doesn't have as great of a healing factor. On the other hand, X-23 is actually really similar to Wolverine in terms of physicality, since she is a clone of him after all. Then X-23's entire skeleton isn't coated in adamantium, just her claws, which makes her more susceptible to being ripped apart. She also has those claws in her feet, which most people forget about, and it actually lets her catch many by surprise. So this fight is different. It might have a different outcome. But how to see it playing out? Well, obviously, She-Hulk is going to be physically stronger than X-23, but I'll venture to say that Laura is more agile and the more effective fighter. Jen is by no means a bad fighter and can more than hold her own, but Laura's speed and agility, coupled with the fact that she isn't afraid to kill, is actually going for lethal moves, makes her the more effective fighter. Then she's also got her claws, which have been able to injure the actual Hulk before, so they should be able to pretty easily slice up She-Hulk too. And then she's got her foot claw, which could catch Jen by surprise and might inflict some serious damage if Laura's accurate with it and uses it in the right spot. But however, here's the whole problem with that. She-Hulk has her healing factor, and even though it might not be as great as the Hulk's, it's good enough for her to heal from X-23's attacks. And then how will X-23's healing factor stack up against She-Hulk's strength? Well, Laura has battled against superpowered beings before, and she's held her own for a while, but eventually X-23's healing factor can be overloaded, and she can be knocked out. And that's what I see happening here. She-Hulk's strength is just going to be too great for X-23 to overcome, and eventually Laura is just going to be knocked out by the strength of the blows, or might even punch 2 states over. She might be able to hold on for a while if she moves quickly, doesn't stop slashing with those claws, but She-Hulk's healing factor is going to counter that well, and might make it a non-factor. At the end of the day, She-Hulk wins this one. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button for videos just like this one every single day.